Welcome to episode 18 of the Cranky Old Bastard, the most politically incorrect podcast you can find on the interwebs these days. I am one of the hosts, John O'Rourke, and with me is none other than...
The Cranky Old Bastard. Salam alaikum. Are we on yet? Are we on?
He likes to lick him. That's what he did. He went, salam alaikum, salam alaikum. So anyway, we've got the
Better than you licking
round
salamis.
Well, it's much better than licking salamis. We got the usual round of crap today, but first off, I just want to make thank you to the No Agenda Show for letting us borrow their clips. We'll only use a few of them. Eventually, we'll have all our own, but hey, go check out the No Agenda Show at noagenda.com. Really great show of political news assassination.
No, come on, be free. Admit that English is your second language.
It is.
It is. Gibberish is your first. That's
well, American was my first.
No, like I said, gibberish is your first. There's no such language as American.
Sure there is. Just ask all the Americans out there. They'll tell you. It's English in different form.
No. Hey, man, I think you want to talk about speaking American, man.
Absolutely. So anyway, we've got a really interesting show for you here today where we're just going to cover whatever random crap happens to come across our table. And we will start it right off.
I know the American language, the real American language. Hey, how are ya? Hey, how are ya? Right?
That would be Cherokee, Apache, Arapaho, you name it. But they weren't American at that time. They weren't American till... I have no idea where America came from because it didn't come from Americo Vespucci.
I think it came from someone going, America!
Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, well, let's start this off. First off here, we've got this wonderful article from...
NASA, where we want to probe Uranus and search for gas.
Oh, God, yes. Please probe my anus and search for gas.
Now, the picture here reminds me a lot of you. Two blue balls.
Yeah, well, that's life. Sometimes life leads you down that path where your balls are real blue for a while.
Poor Uranus has got the worst case of blue balls I've ever seen.
Yes. Well, actually, it's kind of seems like a waste to me. They're going to go all the way to Uranus to get gas, where they could find that and plenty of anus
in the White House.
On the planet.
They can find it in the White House. There's a big anus there.
Big anus there, probably full of shitloads of gas. Absolutely.
And yes, Mr. Trump, we're talking about you.
Yeah, well, whatever. So, anyway, I don't know. Where are we going to take this next?
I don't know.
That started us off. It sort of petered right out.
Yeah, well, okay. If you read the link, it says, like, you hear a lot about Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. That's because we have extremely fancy hardware floating around and in some cases cruising to the surface of those planets. Yeah, like, we really want something cruising to Uranus. Maybe, Jeff, maybe. Okay, if you like that kind of thing, having things cruise to Uranus, then you can go work for NASA. Anyways, let's see. Entire town in the U.S. is sinking. Oh, you know what would have been the perfect clip to have here?
What's that?
Tragically hip. New Orleans is sinking, man, and I don't want to swim. Because it's in New Orleans. Or, sorry, Louisiana. Louisiana. Where, they all speak Cajun.
Yep.
They all speak Cajun. They eat crawdaddies and gators and yumchu and, tuxos.
This one here is an interesting article about an entire town sinking. Well, they're blaming it on climate control. You got to remember...
Climate change.
Climate control, climate change, whatever the fuck they want to call it. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah. Is this enough proof for you that there is climate change happening?
No, because...
No.
If you read this article, they say they started losing this since 1955. All right, that is like 75 years now. Okay, and the fact that this has been going on for ages, and the fact that New Orleans has been sinking since it came into existence.
Well, that's because they built it below fucking sea level.
This is below sea level. Okay, and it goes for all of the southern parts of Louisiana where this is at.
But when the polar caps are melting, what the fuck is causing them to melt?
They're not melting because the ice is being transported. And when you get an article, such as we got another one here, hopefully, that they had to cancel, the Canadian scientists had to cancel their exploration on climate change because of all things, too much fucking ice.
Okay, so why do you have the polar bears dying of starvation because they can't fucking find food because the ice floes are gone?
I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, because you're a fucking American idiot.
No, not American.
9/11 was an inside job, and there's no such thing as global warming.
I don't know if it was an inside job, but it was definitely not 22 idiots with fucking box cutters on planes. Because if we want to go down that fucking path, steel skyscrapers cannot collapse because of fucking airplane gasoline and the shit inside them.
Let's get back to what we were talking about. Read the words that are in bold right in front of you. No, don't scroll down or up.
Concrete proof.
Concrete proof.
It is absolutely no fucking proof.
Concrete proof.
Do you know they have to keep changing the models on these every year? The theoretical computer models that they use for climate change, they have to keep fucking with the figures every year to get them to fit their theories.
And God put dinosaurs on the earth and made it seem like they're billions of years old just so that he could be right.
That shit. No, that's kind of ridiculous.
You don't believe that shit, but you believe that there's no global warming.
There might be global warming, but actually what I believe is we're headed for a global cooling right now. And also the
fucking cold out there now.
Climate change has been happening on this planet since it came into existence. Okay? It's a continuous thing. It will happen long after humans have left this planet, and it'll continue when humans arrive again.
Well, yeah, it goes in a cycle. It warms up, it goes down. But
the
this cycle is being fucked with by emissions.
No.
You can't. How the fuck do you think we're getting holes in the ozone? Like,
how do we get holes in the ozone? We put chemicals up there to eat the ozone.
Okay, and what do you think that's doing to our planet?
Do
you know what the ozone does?
We pulled those chemicals, and the ozone has been repairing itself for the last 30 years.
Yes, but it's not going to happen overnight, and things are going to affect it.
They're blaming right now. These so-called scientists are blaming the global. All right, you've lost. As soon as you do that, you've lost.
No, I haven't. I'm just.
When you have to resort to insults, you've lost your argument.
No. It's not an insult. It's just you sucking the cock of people like Donald Trump.
No.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It has to do with looking at.
Does Donald buy you good knee pads?
See,
does Donald buy you good?
See, folks, when you get to this point in your argument, you have lost your argument. When you have to
when you deny the actual facts, you have no fucking argument.
Oh, but the thing is there are facts that all those facts are easily disproved. And what I'll do,
so are the facts that you're using to disprove them.
So you see, the problem is there's a continuous confusion of what facts are actually real. So when you hit that point, that means that nobody is probably right, and the planet is doing this all by its fucking self.
Then why aren't the other planets?
What do you mean, why aren't the other planets?
Well, they've been monitoring Mars now for years.
The other planets don't have a fucking atmosphere.
How do you know? You been there?
We're monitoring Mars for fucking years. We must know if it has an atmosphere by now, right?
They've already said it does.
Okay.
Every planet has to have an atmosphere. It might not be one that's hospitable to us.
And it might not be one that has a problem with any
man-made chemicals fucking with it.
But have we been monitoring Mars for 400 years plus?
No.
Okay, so we have no idea. We have no idea in that aspect. So that's a moot point.
Okay, today's Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day for all you poor bastards out there who have kids.
These 8 dad stereotypes are anti-feminist, and it's time to ditch them. And this is from Everyday Feminism.
Oh, God, this one will be fun. You know what's funny is some of this stuff. All right, we'll take it away. Go ahead. You start at the top here, and we'll wander down the path.
Okay. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We're just going to go over the points.
Just take the headlines.
Dad care more about having fun than actually parenting. Isn't having fun with your kids actually parenting?
That's what I would say.
I mean,
actually parenting.
Going out and having fun and teaching your kids how to ride the bikes or play baseball is teaching them the joys of having fun. It's parenting. It's teaching. Okay, like not every dad does it. Not every mom can do it, but there are moms that do it. But of course, they're doing it right.
Now, the question I've got for this is, how is this anti-feminist?
Because it's not mom teaching them. You know, one of the
This is the question here. So I want to go through all these headlines here, because they say these are anti-feminist things about men and fathers. So I want to know why. Why is that statement anti-feminist?
because it's taken away from mom teaching them
Okay,
the
well,
fun
let's move on
stuff.
to the next one. The next one, dads are perpetually bad cooks. Well, that depends on the dad.
Okay.
I know a lot of dads that can't cook.
I've never tasted your ex-wife's cooking. I've tasted your cooking.
My cooking's fantastic.
So is mine. I'm the better cook in my household. I don't do it very often because I like to cook in a clean kitchen.
Yeah, well,
And the wife won't go in there and clean the fucking kitchen up.
Well, there you go. There's a problem with that one. I don't have a wife anymore, so I don't have to worry about it.
Dads care more about maintaining appearances than their child. It's called teaching your child
Teaching them-
dress, deportment, and grooming.
Teaching them how to look.
Leading by example.
Proper. Exactly. Now, again, how is this feminist or anti-feminist?
Well, you know, you're teaching son, your shirt should be pressed. And unfortunately, this doesn't happen. You should be wearing clean clothes.
This doesn't happen as much these days as it should. No.
This is how it's anti-feminist. You should be wearing clean clothes, clean underwear, clean socks. Your socks shouldn't have holes in them. So obviously, you know, they're insinuating that we're saying as men that mom's not doing her job because she's not doing the laundry and sewing your clothes up and darning the holes in your socks and
All right.
ironing your clothes.
Now,
I do my own fucking ironing. I don't let anybody touch
This
my
next
stuff.
one here, I find a bit of bullshit. Dads don't like to spend quality time with their kids. Say what? Fuck. I don't
Because
know
they're
any-
always
I don't know
working
any
and are too
fathers-
tired to give their kids the time of day.
Bullshit. I don't know any fathers that don't want to spend quality time with their kids. I do not know a single father
Yeah.
that doesn't go out of his way to spend quality time with their kids.
Well-
Not spend all his time with his kids? No.
There are fathers that are deadbeat dads and don't want to do it. But there's also deadbeat fucking moms.
There's lots of deadbeat moms to go with all the
And-
deadbeat dads.
You know, because we're the ones who are out doing other things with them. You know, you get the soccer moms. Well, I'm here because Junior's daddy is working. Well, you know, if you don't want to fucking drive a goddamn new SUV every fucking year.
Yeah,
And
Junior's
get
dad
up-
wouldn't be working overtime hours.
Yeah, I mean, you want to drive a new SUV, you get your ass out there. You earn the money to drive your SUV. More power to you. You know, I'll spend the quality time with my kids.
Now, this is an interesting one. This one here must be sort of new. Dads only want to be stay-at-home caregivers because they think it's an easy job.
What a crock of shit. Anybody who's stayed home looking after sick kids knows it's not an easy job.
Oh,
Somebody who
absolutely.
does it all the time, I'm a stay-at-home dad. I know it's not a fucking easy job. I also try and run a photography business. It's hard to do the two jobs at once because I've got to balance everything.
The truism is that no one can have it all.
No. And you know what? It's not. This isn't anti-feminism. What they really need to say is these stereotypes are anti-corporation because the corporations make it so hard for us to make the money and be able to spend the quality time with our kids, both parents.
Once upon a time, there were high-paying jobs, and men only had to work like 30 or 40 hours a week for that high-paying job to support an entire family. One person could stay at home. It's like, yeah, the world's changed.
Dads are perpetually messy and unable to do housework.
Bullshit.
Yeah, complete and utter fucking bullshit. You know, you go out to work no matter what your job is. You come home and then you've got to do another 8 hours of work between two people. That's in a functional family, not a dysfunctional family where there's only one parent. So a parent goes out, works 2, maybe 3 jobs, then has to come home and do the housework.
Yeah.
And, you know, what they should be saying is, dads, fuck you because we don't want you to have custody of the kids.
All right, this one here is kind of an irritant.
Oh.
And it said dads who stay at home while their partners bring home the paycheck are weak. Now, this one here strikes a major core in me because this one here is an actual truism amongst feminists and women in general, because women in general don't want a partner that makes less than them. And this is starting to be proved out through some scientific research and my own personal ad hoc research that I've been doing. It's really kind of actually weird. Women only want men who make as much money as they do or more. And when they make less, whether they do it on purpose or not, women tend to look down on those males simply because women always want to have a male at a higher status than she is.
Okay, I got a question for you. Back in May, did you notice the Procter & Gamble commercials and at the Olympics, when the Olympics were running?
No.
Thanks, Mom. There's all these commercials about all these athletes getting so far, and it was always, thanks, Mom. Never a thanks, Dad. Father's Day is here. Did you see one commercial that says, thanks, Dad?
I did, actually.
Wow. Then that's fucking amazing, because I haven't. I watch for them every year.
I saw one from Dove. Dove put one out.
I have seen that one before, but it wasn't just centered around Father's Day.
Oh, no, this one here was pure Father's Day.
Oh.
It was a pure Father's Day commercial.
I've seen the one that they put out with different dads and same-sex couples, 2 dads. Great, more power to them. You know, I think it's great. Procter & Gamble, you need to pull your assholes out of the 18th century, move into the 21st century, and realize, you know, both parents work very hard to bring up a family, whether they're in the same house or not. Both parents work just as fucking hard. And if you don't believe me, too fucking bad, because I don't give a shit. Next point is dads aren't emotional or can't express their feelings.
We're going to come back to this one here for a second. All right, let's rewind that. This one here. This is the Dove Father's Day commercial.
Okay. Yes, it is. Thank you, Dove. See? I love that commercial.
That was pure fathers.
It was.
So,
and you know,
yeah, a lot of them when they do a Father's Day, they try to put a mother in there. It's like,
yeah,
seriously?
Well, the moms who are doing the jobs as dad. You know, there are women out there that do the work of both mother and father, and there's fathers out there that do the job.
They're not doing the work of a father. They have no fucking testosterone.
They're doing the work of both parents. They're doing the work of both parents.
They're trying to provide what a male should be providing, is what they're doing. They're not truly doing the work of a male.
But on the same token, you got to say that a father can't provide the same support that a mother would. Now, my kids, okay, I've got 2 special needs kids, okay? I bathe my kids because they don't act up for me. They know Dad does bath time. It's the routine. When Mom does bath time, it screws with the routine. It screws them up. It's a hard time. It's an uphill fucking battle. Mom gets them up in the morning. Dad might take them to school, but Mom gets them up. They don't come out and say, hi, Dad. They come out and say, hi, Mom. Mom gets a hug, you know. We get them ready to go. We take them to school. But my kids know that both parents do the jobs.
Yeah.
We switch back and forth. Okay.
All right.
Dads aren't emotional and can't express their feelings.
Yeah, bullshit.
This is utter crap, man. It's utter crap. You know why? Because society has said that as men, we are not allowed to express our feelings unless it's joy, anger, or horny.
Yeah, one of those 3.
Anything else, forget it.
Unless it's a funeral of someone super close to you or some other...
Oh, not even then. Not even then, you know. You're supposed to be stoic. You're not supposed to shed a tear. Men don't cry. You suck it up. Be a man. Yeah. Sounds like someone else I know said that today. Dumb fucking cunt.
Put on your big boy panties, man.
Yeah.
Suck it out.
And now, back to real news.
So, okay, the next one I want to tackle is women-dominated professions.
Women-dominated professions.
Yes.
All right.
And I want to tackle these ones as they come up.
Yes.
Number one, child care services. Yes, the majority of the child care services are run by women. Teachers are mostly women. Preschool, run by women. Babysitters, mostly women. Why? Because if a man wants to get in that field, he's some sort of fucking pedophile.
That's how they treat him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not that men don't want to get into that field. It's that men don't want to deal with the bullshit that goes along with getting in that field. And if they do, then they're ostracized for being in that field.
Yes.
By men, by women, and by society. Society has taught us that women look after the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Men go out and provide. So man can't go
Been
and
like
provide
that
by
for several millennia.
Yeah, but men can't go out and provide for the family by working in childcare, apparently.
No.
Home health care services. Okay. When I'm as old as you are and feeble, and like you, I've lost control of my bowels, and I have to wear diapers, I want a male nurse to come in and change me. I don't want some hot young thing coming in, me blowing my load all in her face without her touching me. Come on. I mean, you have this problem. I know we said we wouldn't talk about it.
Oh, fuck you.
But would you not rather have a guy who could understand, fuck, this shit happens, and you're not going to get a boner when a guy comes in to change your depends.
No, probably not. By that time there, you're going to be lucky if you can get a boner anyway, so
Yeah.
it really makes no diff. That's not the point. The point is one of the things to remember is like the child care services, it's 94% female dominated.
We're on home health care services.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to go back to that one so you know. The home health care services is 89% female dominated. And this is the other reason for this article here is to highlight the fact that women are talking about equity of pay and wage gap and blah, 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 and they don't get work in STEM or whatever. The truth is that men and women make different decisions on the type of jobs they take based upon the kind of hours it requires, the kind of efforts are required, the kind of natural inclinations towards doing things. Because men and women are naturally inclined to do different things.
Do you know what you're doing right now?
I'm being a man, so
No.
fuck you.
No, you're not. Do you know what you're doing?
What do you think I'm doing?
You're clouding the issue with facts.
Oh, yeah, excuse me, you're right. I shouldn't do that.
Okay, so
Let's not bring facts into this and actually talk about the truth of the matter.
veterinary services. Again, this is society saying that women are supposed to be more empathetic and more caring towards little animals and kids, and therefore it's the schooling for veterinary is actually geared towards women. It's harder for a man to become a vet than it is for a woman. It's harder to become a vet than it is to become a medical
It
doctor.
actually takes longer to become a vet than a
Yeah.
medical doctor, surprisingly.
I know.
We care more about our fucking animals than we do the
I know a
humans and
family of
doctors.
vets, and this galls me to no end because, women are more compassionate, and you got to put Scruffy down. I'm terribly sorry, but Scruffy's had a good long life, and it's time that we ended. It's pain. Then you get a guy. Well, yeah, Scruffy's had a good long life, and it's time to end his suffering. Which is going to make you feel better about ending Scruffy's life? A nice, soft, caring, compassionate voice, or a guy who's saying, matter of factly, look, Scruffy's had a great long life, but it's time to end the suffering.
In the charade. Put him down.
But then again, you got Dr. Pole.
Dr. Pole?
You've never seen Dr. Pole?
No.
Oh,
Can't say
Dr.
I
Pole
have.
he's on TV. He's a vet, and
That
he's
explains
Dutch.
why I haven't seen it since I don't watch TV.
He's Dutch, and he's hilarious. Okay, social services.
84.8% female.
Yeah. And do you know the highest rate of burnout for
Jobs,
employment?
social services.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's because you eventually get fed up with people's bullshit.
Yeah. Average pay for them is $45,500 a year.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to assume that this is because it's from monster.com. It's going to be American.
Yeah, that's be American dollars, most of them.
Okay.
These are based on U.S. statistics. A lot of what we got here is based on U.S. statistics, folks.
Now, education requirements of this is actually quite interesting. at least a bachelor's degree in social work, but a clinical social worker must also earn a master's degree for 2 years of postmaster's experience in a supervised setting.
And they make only 45 grand a year. That's pretty pathetic
In
for all
addition
that
to clinical
education.
social workers must earn a license for the state where they practice. Now, let's go to the men make more money than women do for the same work. Okay, you know what? This is dominated by women because society has said men can't go to school for that long because if they do, they're a professional student. And they're obviously not wanting to go out and get a real job. You know, they've got one degree. Why do they need two? Why do they need a master's? Why do they need a doctorate?
Oh, who knows?
Educational services. The people who raise our children. When you think about it and you get down to it, these people see our kids more than we do once they're in school.
They do, actually. They see them for like 6-7 hours a day.
And they're the ones instilling what we hope are good values in our children.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to find good teachers.
I mean, my kids right now, they've got great teachers. They've got great teachers' aides who love them dearly. And my kids love them. My kids are thoroughly happy in their school. I think it's great. You know, when I had a male teacher, I found that they were more coarse, harder on the guys than they were on the girls.
Oh, you know what's interesting now is male teachers tend to help the male students much better because unfortunately the school system now is geared towards women. It's no longer geared towards men, which is why we have an epidemic of school systems drugging up boys.
The school systems nowadays are geared to raising a bunch of fucking pussies who won't stand their ground.
They're geared for women. All right, same thing. But they're geared to the way women learn because women and men learn differently. We do. It's a given natural fact. It's one of the reasons why in ancient times druids would split men and boys at the age of 6 and they would continue their education separately till the age of 18. You know,
do you know how the druids separated the men from the boys?
With a knife?
With a crowbar. Libraries and archivists. You know, okay, first of all, have you ever seen a hot male librarian?
I'm not gay, but I imagine there's some out there.
Well, I'm just saying, I've never seen a hot male librarian, and I can appreciate a good-looking man.
I've seen some male librarians that, you know, are pretty good-looking, but I wouldn't call him hot because I'm not attracted to him, but, you know.
George Clooney is a good-looking man. He would probably make a hot librarian.
He probably has been a hot librarian. I don't know, look at all his movies.
If you compare him to someone, say, like Amy Adams...
No, yeah, absolutely. You know, something about women in these right kinds of glasses with their hair pulled in a ponytail.
But, you know, again, it comes back to the education requirement. They've got to spend a lot more time in school.
They got to get a master's degree to be a fucking librarian?
Yep.
Good God. That's really sad.
Yep. And certain positions mandate additional requirements, such as a degree in another field or teaching certificate. So there's like 12 fucking years of school.
Yep. Just to be a librarian.
Just to be a hot librarian.
Yeah, well. Anyway, we'll skip around on these ones here. We're gonna.
Accountants? We can skip over accountants.
Yeah.
Legal services. I know are really hot, smoking hot.
But legal services. This leads to another interesting fact about colleges and universities on legal services because, of course, North America, we graduate more lawyers than fucking all the other countries in the world combined. But.
Do you know why?
Right now, it's more than 60% female graduating as lawyers.
Do you know why sharks don't attack lawyers?
They don't.
Professional courtesy.
That's what they're looking for, professional courtesy.
But I know a hot.
It's like, you know, what do you call 10,000 lawyers at the bottom of the Atlantic?
A good start.
There you go.
I know this woman. She's a paralegal, a very hot paralegal. You've met her.
Oh, yeah.
And she tells me what she does in the day. Mm-hmm. She books everything for the lawyer that she works for.
Well, the paralegal does all the fucking work. The lawyer gets the glory.
Yeah. She books him into hotels, make sure that, you know, he's got silk pillowcases because,
does all his fucking research, writes his briefs.
Exactly.
You know, but yeah, that's the job of a paralegal, though. That's what they do. They don't have to go to school as long to become a paralegal. They don't make nearly the money, but they do twice the workload.
Yep. Okay, next one. Employment services. Well, I'm sorry, but I think this is because of genetics.
Yeah.
I mean, mother-in-law's going, go out and get a job, you lazy bum.
Temperament. All right, finally, leisure and hospitality. This one here, it's split almost 50-50. 51% female, so it's pretty close. And this one here, I can understand because there's a lot of really good jobs in the food services.
What I want to know, leisure and hospitality. Now, does that encompass sex workers?
Well, that's probably not figured into this because sex workers are only legal in one state in the U.S. that I know of.
Yeah. Now,
so
and don't get me wrong, sex workers.
They can't count them if they're not actually, counting their pay every week.
Sex workers are so maligned and
they're absolutely needed.
Shunned, and it should be legal, and it should be regulated.
They do in Australia,
and they should have every right that we have.
They're fully legal and regulated in Australia.
Yeah, I know.
And also, there's a couple other countries. They have fewer problems. No, they don't have no problems, but they have a whole lot less problems in those areas when it's legalized. It's kind of like Nevada. Nevada has fewer problems with sex workers than any other state in the union.
Okay, so
all
let's move on.
We need to move on to something else here.
Divorced dads can't catch a break. This is true. This has been going on since.
Oh, this has been going on for 30 years. Actually, 25 years.
Longer.
But yeah, a lot
longer. A lot longer.
I've experienced it over the course of 30 years.
I've experienced it a fuck of a lot longer. My second wife got full custody of the kids, even though she beat them. She was emotionally and physically abusive to me. And any one of you fuckers want to make a comment about that, feel free, because I'll set you in your place. Bitch! But, because she had the job, I was staying at home looking after the kids. I had a job, but my job allowed me to spend more time with the kids. I was looking after the kids.
You should have got custody.
I should have gotten custody. I was the primary caregiver.
If it was the opposite way around, she would have automatically got custody.
But because I have a dick and she doesn't, she got full custody. I got visitation. And when I moved away, she stopped my kids from seeing me completely, and the rest of my family. She's turned them completely against the family. And her name is Glitch. Lives in Omemee, Ontario. She's a cunt.
That was uncalled for, dude. No more doxing on this show.
She's a cunt.
You can say everything else you want, but you don't fucking dox, man.
Cunt. My ex-wife is a cunt.
Yeah, you think you'd get over it after a while.
Yeah. At any rate, you have your kids turned against you. See how fast you get over it. And a Father's Day as we know it.
Yeah. So, at any rate, what this goes on to describe in this article is it goes on to describe a whole lot of the issues men still face in the uphill battle of getting fair shake, fair custody, fair right equity with child support and all of that area. And this is still a problem throughout all of Western civilization, be it Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand, all of them areas who work off of the same original British type codes and British common law.
Okay, so
is a lot of what this, unfortunately, this doesn't even actually stem from common law, because once upon a time, before feminism got its hooks into everything, the man was automatically given custody of the children, no matter what. And then times changed, and it seemed like it should change a bit at that time. But it went so far the other way that it's now completely biased against the father. The father is automatically assumed to be not the person to take care of the children. And when a father fights for that, what's often put up as a silly argument towards this is that women go, well, I've been home taking care of the children, and you've been off working, so you've hardly seen them, thereby discounting the actual efforts that he put in to maintain that family. Why was he working 60 hours a week? So you could drive that fucking SUV, so you could have food on the table, so you could have this. So now all you want to do is you want to take 3/4 of the money he makes, make him have to go live in a hovel of a one-bedroom rat-infested apartment while you get the most of his money and you get to stay in the house you bought together, keep the SUV, and keep yourself in a lifestyle you're accustomed to. All because he has the dick and was making money, and he did not ever contribute to the household when he came home from work. He didn't do any work. Well, fuck, he'd been working for 12 goddamn hours. Cut the man a break. This kind of shit. And this is the problem that is often occurring. And these are the arguments that put up. And yet, for some god-awful reason, we have judges who you think are intelligent enough to see through this shit, don't see through it. And yet they go, oh, yeah, give it to the woman. It's just dumb. Absolutely fucking dumb.
It's asinine. And, when I got divorced the second time, with the kids involved, I had to provide some references who knew me as a parent. I did that. I was able to do that. Friends of hers who went to bat for me saying, look, he's been the one there through thick and thin, But when we got divorced, I was working as a bricklayer, so I'm working all these fucking hours.
Yeah.
And now she's like, well, he's never home.
He's never home. Well, fucking goddamn, he's out earning the fucking money.
I'm breaking my back to make sure that you can work your night job and fuck the guys that you're working with.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on from this one because this one gets a little heated. So,
well, I wanted to go on to the end of Father's Day as we know it.
Oh.
It's a YouTube link, but when I visit the link, the video has been removed by the user.
oh shit, I should have downloaded it. I got to remember to do that from now on.
It makes me wonder why they had to remove it. Like, did they remove it because of social pressure? Because
it was absolutely social pressure, and I got to remember when I run across those to download it so that I always have a copy. Sort of a bum that I didn't do that. Anyway, we'll take a pause.
well, let's do it.
All right, well, let's roll this forward. All right, here we go. Next thing up on the ladder. Genius is now a sexist term. In other words, you can no longer use genius. All right? This is from the University of Cambridge in good old London. Isn't it in London?
No, it's not in London.
Where is it? It's always in Cambridge.
Yes.
It's in Cambridge, England. Whatever the fuck
Yes.
that means. I have no idea.
Okay.
So it's over there on that little fucking island just off the coast of France.
The
better
island
country?
that once ruled the world. Just
yes,
point that
they
out.
fucked that one up, didn't they?
Okay, so Dr.
hey.
Lucy DeLapp, a British history lecturer,
I wonder if she does
says,
lap dances.
You've seen her picture. Do you really want that?
No.
If she gave you a laptop,
we
lap
wouldn't
dance.
look this one up on. Look this one up.
If she gave you a lap dance,
and she's
you'd never get it up
obviously
again.
a women's studies instructor at the University of Cambridge.
And she wants to use, we want to use a language that is
She's
transparent.
got a mannish face, doesn't she?
We're writing our first 2 years of our history degree to create a wider set of paper choices to make assessment criteria clear and to really try and root out the unhelpful and very vague talk of genius, of brilliance, and flair, which carries assumptions of gender inequality, also class of ethnicity. Well, first
Also
of all,
of class and ethnicity.
ethnicity.
Ethnicity, yes. Thank you.
Okay, genius. I mean, Madame Curie was a genius. It was applied to her years before feminism came by.
The bitch that feminists have against this particular thing is that women aren't the geniuses because they don't go into STEM fields. They don't go into physics and science and engineering and yada yada yada. The guys who are actually fucking geniuses, and there's a lot of women in that field, and the women that get there, they're fucking geniuses too.
The chick that plays Amy Farrah Fowler on The Big Bang is
God,
actually
yes.
a fucking genius.
Oh, and she's one hot fucking genius. Yes.
But, okay, let's tackle these words. Genius. Well, to me, genius means somebody who has above average intelligence and can apply that intelligence.
That's what a genius
has
is.
the wisdom to apply that intelligence.
Well, wisdom's not always necessary to apply it, but it helps.
Brilliance. Brilliance, to me, is talking about light, okay? That light is really brilliant.
Well,
What's the brilliance of those light bulbs?
Well, the brilliance in this term to me is not necessarily someone who's a genius in physics or something, but the brilliance of an artist that can brilliantly bring out something that no one else could see.
Okay, now flair. Flair!
Flair applies to just about anyone.
Flair! No, when you talk about flair, you can only talk about one person. Woo! It's Ric Flair, okay? What she got against a fucking wrestler? That's what I want to know. Woo! Come on, Rick.
This is what's happening.
We need to get Ric Flair on here.
Women's studies courses that are all through universities nowadays. Then this is what they're doing to universities and students.
Oh my God! Oh fuck! I just scrolled down, and they're in big, bold, red letters. Related, Oxford plans to let students take exams at home to help women do better.
Yes.
Why do they do better at home?
Because they can look it up without having someone over their shoulder?
Yeah, they just make it an open book exam. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Look, there's your books. You got the same books as he does. They were printed by the same company, and they didn't know who they were going to, men or women.
This is that wonderful area of women want to be equal but special.
Yeah, and which
we want
is
to be equal,
bullshit.
but we need you to lower all the standards just for us, so we're more equal than men. Because we obviously can't compete at the level of men because we're women.
Well,
but yeah, we're equal.
No, it's okay. I don't see it that way,
I'm sorry, I do.
but I do see it as them wanting to lower the standards so that they can feel equal. But why should the rest of the world lower their standards? Why don't you raise yours?
Well, that's the whole point. It's like women are equal to men. It's just that the difference is men and women are different. We have different strengths. We have different weaknesses. That is the problem. We are equal, and there's women that are more than capable of doing all the same shit men can do. And there's men that are more than capable of doing all the same shit that women can do, except one, of course. Men can't have babies.
No.
But then again, women can't produce sperm. So without the sperm, they can't have a baby. So, hey, either way, we need each other. You know, simply put, men and women need each other to exist on this fucking planet. And for a long time, we understood that. But somewhere in the last 50 years, 60 years, we forgot that we need each other to exist. And that's one of the problems that's occurring.
Okay. Now, while we're on this topic, I want to move on to one of the other things we've got on here.
Which one?
Target responds to annoying Twitter feminist proves how dumb she is. Okay.
Oh, God, yes, this one is great.
A verified liberal by the name of Katie Hind,
yes.
Katie Hind, has been receiving a lot of attention online lately over a tweet in which she brags about relocating NASA t-shirts from the boys section of Target to the girls.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Oh, fuck you.
She took NASA tank tops from the boys section and put them in the girls section.
And then brag. Yes, yes.
Yeah, she bragged. Okay, so not only is she forcing girls to accept a certain type of clothing,
Yes.
but she's also causing more work for the underpaid fucking employees here that now have to go over there and pick up those shirts and sort them back into the other section. Why? Because she's a cunt.
Yeah, and also what happened, this is where Target owned her ass. Because Target tweeted back, did you know we actually have NASA t-shirts and tank tops and such in girl styles in the girl section, and if they're not there, it just means we were out of stock, and you can still get them online. You know, it's not that Target doesn't have all these things for girls. They just didn't have them the day that this social justice warrior bitch decided she needed to exercise her feminist viewpoint that, oh, these poor girls can't have NASA shirts, and I'm going to take them from the boys section and put them over here. So, yeah.
Okay, now here's another point. Majority of retail workers are what? What sex are they? The majority of retail
They're
workers.
mostly women.
Okay. So now she's just said to these women who are working in retail, you don't matter as much as I do because your job is meaningless and asinine and not worth me actually giving a damn about you. So I've gone and made your job even harder. So you've got to work that much more for that minimum wage that you get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What the fuck, bitch? Do you not have any respect for anybody else out there? You know, you could have gone up and talked to your manager or someone in the clothing department and saying, excuse me, but do you have these in women's? Oh, yes, we do. But unfortunately, we're out of stock right now because they're going off their shelves like fucking hotcakes. No, you'd rather fucking pull your tampon out, swing it around, and fucking, look at me, I'm special. Oh, fuck. And even those who agreed with Hein got a dose of her feminist tongue lashing.
Oh, God, yes. This one was great.
You're my spirit animal. Love you the sport, but ask that you use Patronus instead of BC using spirit animal is cultural appropriation. You know what? I'm whiter than fucking white. I was given my spirit animals by a native elder. if they didn't want me to have those spirit animals, they wouldn't have given them to me. Because using spirit animal, using Patronus is using up a made-up fucking word. You've read too much Harry Potter, bitch.
You've obviously read too much Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But then again, all our words are made up and appropriated from somewhere. All right, pick something else here. Let's move on to some other news.
Survey says... McMahon's Meltdown.
Fact check false.
Every 10 things every white yoga teacher must know.
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting.
White yoga teachers.
Well, lots of white yoga teachers.
Sakya is South Asian
Hold
American.
on, don't start playing that.
No, I've stopped it.
Yeah, give me a second here. I gotta find it again. Finding the news, folks. It's like...
If you're not white, you shouldn't do yoga because it's cultural appropriation. If you're white, you should not hunt with a bow and arrow because, you're taking that from the natives. Never mind that the English used them long before the fucking natives were even discovered, English longbowmen, best in the fucking world. But no, it's cultural appropriation because if you want to hunt with a bow and arrow, then you're stealing from the natives.
Oh, they probably used them about the same time.
Well,
The natives were just making different
Come on.
types of bows. The English...
The English were...
The English perfected the longbow.
The English were around long before John Wayne and his Western movies, okay?
Yeah, well, come on, the English in the North America... That's the wrong one. Hang on. I went to the wrong spot.
So I'm just reading through some of the comments here. Good for you guys. America steals everyone's culture and calls it theirs. No, okay. Cultural appropriation is fucking bullshit. If it wasn't for cultural appropriation, as you fuckers call it, we wouldn't have things like spaghetti. Spaghetti actually came from China.
That's
Marco
right.
Polo brought it back to Italy.
And they appropriated it and turned it into the wonderful pasta we have today.
They did. You would not have rock music because it goes back to gospel and the slaves singing about freedom.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, well, let's let this play for just a couple minutes here. Off we go.
Sapya is South Asian American perspectives on yoga in America. What's true is that so many of us across the diaspora have been talking in private about segregation in yoga or about being uncomfortable in a yoga class. Sapya aims to make these private discussions public so that way we can have some impact on a civic scale around keeping yoga integrated.
And I think especially in the United States, to be a South Asian American yoga teacher
All right, I'm not going to play it for
felt
5
like a
minutes.
rebellious act. It felt like a push.
So they will also have discussions with other white yoga teachers, like make sure that they also listen and educate, and there's a lot of information about how
That
to
chick
be
doesn't look like
ally
she's Indian.
and read that information, so that.
Overweight Indian. She must be living in North America too long. So anyway, this is kind of tough. This is actually kind of a boring bit. I probably should have deleted it.
No, because it deals with a lot of what's wrong.
The problem is they do a lot of long-winded talk before they say their one little point, and then a lot of long-winded babble.
Yeah.
It's 10 minutes in length. I'm not going to sit here and bore us through the whole 10 minutes of it. What it boils down to, in essence, is that they feel that, white culture has appropriated yoga to the point where, I think it was University of Toronto that tried to ban yoga teaching because it was appropriation. Of all things.
Well, then we gotta ban acupuncture.
Oh, we got to ban.
We gotta ban massage therapy. We've gotta ban.
Probably chiropractic too.
Yeah.
God help us, no, I know that.
And you know what? We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to ban the condoms.
And ban Mexican food and Italian food.
No, we're gonna have to ban condoms. Otherwise, the Scots are gonna get all pissed off, going, "That's my fucking sheep. You're wearing my sheep, lad. That's my fucking sheep. You're appropriating my culture."
So, at any rate, what it boils down to is they sit there and say that the white yoga teachers don't really understand it because they're white. Just because you're white doesn't preclude you from being able to understand another culture and treating it with the respect it deserves. And yoga itself, I can't remember where I read it, but tripped across something that I read, that yoga was released to the West in the hopes of bringing some peace and harmony, because yoga itself is about peace and harmony and balance. That's one of the things it's about. And even some of the yogis have said things along that line. It doesn't matter who teaches something or who uses something. It matters how they respect or treat it in the process, is what it really boils down to.
Hang on, I'm looking up a quote here that's
Okay.
great about cultural appropriation.
All right, well, you look that quote up, and we will just go...
I want to make sure I got the right quote and give proper credit.
Good try, scumbag.
Okay, it was in the movie Crossroads.
Crossroads.
And, people say white people shouldn't sing the blues. And the blues is nothing more than a good man singing about how his woman done him wrong.
Well, I thought that was country music.
No, it's the blues. Now, I don't care what fucking color your skin is, where in the world you're from, what sex you are, but if you've been done wrong by your lover, your partner, that special person in your life, then you've got the right to sing the fucking blues, motherfucker.
Absolutely.
I don't care if you're whiter than I am, or if you're blacker than the Ace of Spades, or if you're from Bombay wanting to sing, oh, yeah, my woman's done me wrong. Yeah, she left me with my cow. I surely missed my cow. No, I don't know what to do. I don't care, okay? What you need to understand is what you think of as cultural appropriation is the wrong thing. If a white man wants to be a Rastafarian and follow the Rastafarian beliefs, then he's got the right to grow dreadlocks.
That's right.
If a black man wants to be a white supremacist, he's got that right.
That's right.
It goes back to the conversation. Is there such a thing as a Jewish anti-Semite or black white supremacist?
I think there is Jewish anti-Semites.
It's like Caitlyn Jenner. Okay, Caitlyn Jenner is a transgender woman who's against herself. Because she's a fucking Republican. You can have Republican views, but you're going against what you are, what you've done with your life, and then you're sending the message that it's wrong.
All right, let's go on to go to some fun here. Here we go. I demand.
So this forum was held at NYU School of Law, and it runs for over 70 minutes. But you should know before watching the full video that at times this is excruciatingly difficult to listen to. Excruciating because the problem glasses wearing SJW seated next to Jonathan Haidt goes for gold in the Oppression Olympic Stakes. Before we start, the guy in the middle is the moderator. The two to his right are law professors, the woman is from Harvard, and the man from NYU. On the other, we have Jonathan Haidt, and next to him, the turbocharged SJW.
Okay, she's from Harvard, he's from NYU.
And
what's the matter, buddy? Couldn't you get into fucking Harvard? You're not good enough?
Oh, let's not worry about that. Come on.
the reason that I like bringing up the Americans with Disabilities Act is that to me, content warnings are all about access. So I think of them as sort of collective reasonable accommodations. If you think about the purpose of the Americans with Disabilities Act, it is to make sure that people with disabilities have the same ability to participate and access to the same things that people who don't have disabilities do. And that's sort of the same idea behind content warning.
Nothing like a good false equivalency to start us off. She's comparing content or trigger warnings to providing access for disabled people. So some people are so marginalized in the classroom, they're equivalent to the disabled. Of course, this is just the now standard, tried and true method of establishing a victim narrative.
If you think about the way our society is organized, it's in an ableist way. It's to privilege people without disabilities, people who don't need these kinds of accommodations. And that's sort of an arbitrary choice. Like, why did we decide to organize our society that way?
But it's not an arbitrary choice. It's the most efficient choice. And that's not to say that things don't or can't be improved over time. But if every apartment block that had more than one floor had to have an elevator, that would be prohibitively expensive. The idea that we would make the world over for everyone with any type of disability is not practical.
If we think about things like...
All right, enough of that for a moment. Keep forgetting that there's a lot of miscellaneous boring in these things.
Now, reading the headline that we had, demanding trigger warnings, for certain things, yes, there should be.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
Trigger warnings are not...
What's more important?
My ability to say what I want.
Okay, no. What's more important?
More important.
Last year, I'm out at Fort Rod Hill. They've got a sign out front saying demonstration. Firepower.
That...
Nothing... No. You're going to let me finish. You're going to let me finish. This is a trigger warning. You're going to let me fucking finish.
It's not a trigger warning. Go ahead.
It is. It says nothing about live fire or gunfire. It says firepower. That's 2 words. Firepower. I'm a vet with PTSD. I'm wandering through the forest out there. I hear automatic weapon fire. I go fucking nuts. I go into survival mode where now I've put my family and the people around me in danger because there wasn't a proper fucking warning out there. Sometimes you need trigger warnings for the safety of others. Not for me, but for your sorry ass. Because if I came up against you, I slit your throat. Okay, you're dead. I'm going to jail. I'm going to the mental hospital for 6 months.
All right. See, the thing is, that's a different scenario than me having to say if I ever obtain the ability to give a lecture somewhere or something, to say to people, I might say words like nigger, spick, and kike in this, and I'm sorry if they're going to offend you. I might say words that will hurt your tiny little feelings. That's what these bitches are after. They're not after something such as they should have, not only for the sake of someone like you suffering PTSD, for the sake of any other person who wants to protect their fucking ears and other shit from the sounds of live fire. You know, it'd be kind of like this morning. It was actually kind of an unexpected thing. I went to a race this morning on the naval base here this morning. And usually when they start a race, they have a pop gun or they have an air horn or something. No, you know what these fuckers fired off for their
one of the ship's guns.
Almost. It's one of those big-ass guns they haul behind a truck.
A howitzer.
A howitzer, that's what it is, yeah. Those fucking things startle your ass.
Okay, that's your fault for not paying attention to your surroundings.
It was not visible. It was over the hill. It was up over the hill behind us. Behind us where you didn't know it was there.
That's the beauty of the artillery.
Well, I know.
But you know what? I do agree with you there.
It's the same sort of point you're getting at.
I did not know that.
It would have set you fucking off.
Oh, fuck yeah. They're blasting by my place. Yeah. And they're supposed to be giving blast warnings. You don't hear the blast warnings. You feel the fucking rumble from the explosion. Yeah. And I'm looking for a rock to climb under.
Yeah. But see, that's what I'm getting at. There are some things that, yes, there should be a warning for. But most of this shit is for students in a classroom where an instructor is supposed to be challenging their beliefs with the content he is presenting. Challenging the way they think. Because that's what you go to college for.
You're not supposed to be challenged anymore. You're supposed to be handed your certificate.
That's what they're doing to fucking colleges. And that's what these trigger warnings and all this other safe spaces and special snowflake crap is about. Oh my God, I can't handle the fact that you have a different opinion as me. I need a trigger warning because you're going to present an opinion I don't agree with.
And see, what I would do in that case, I'd sign up for all of her classes. And if they had...
an instructor.
Pardon?
She's not an instructor.
Yeah, they said that she's an instructor at Harvard.
No, she's from NYU. She's a student. It's in the name tag.
Okay.
The other woman on the other side is from Harvard.
But
these are different people on a panel.
Having a conversation. I'd have a yellow card, and every word that came out of her mouth, I'd hold up the yellow card. That's offensive. That's offensive. That's offensive. until she just sat there and didn't say a fucking word. Then I'd hold up my yellow card saying your silence is offensive.
Yeah,
because I'm a fucking prick.
Yeah, well, but see, this is the thing that's happening across our colleges and universities. And one of the things I heard recently in something is if you don't think it matters, and a lot of people think, oh, it's only the college and universities. You forget, college and universities are training the people who are going to be the leaders in 15 years. And it made me stop and think about how we're in this position. And I was in college 15 years ago. And I remember the beginning of the PC movement in college. Now, those leaders are out there creating the problems that started then.
I found myself drawn into that political correctness, and following this female comic, I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But she summed it up perfectly. She said, I used to say, bitch, and now I say,
cunt?
That's so special. Or I will say, ain't that special? I used to say, nice tits. Now I say, who's your doctor? I used to say slut. Now I say flight attendant. And that's exactly what it's come down to. You cannot say bitch. George Carlin, 7 dirty words. Find it.
Tis fuck cunt.
Shit, bitch, motherfucker, cocksucker, cunt, and tits. Now, I'm sure there's more.
Oh, there is.
But, I mean, and that list just keeps growing. And George Carlin, whatever gods there are, may they take you into their arms and welcome you and say, it's great to have you here. You got to go back. These people are fucking everything up.
Yeah, well, here, let's hear it from the master himself.
Well, that's the trouble with it, is trying to decide what to call these words, man. Or trying to decide what to call this whole thing. You know, what are these words that I'm talking about? They're just words that we've decided, sort of decided, not to use all the time. That's about the only thing you can really say about them for sure. That they're just some words, not many either, just a few, that we've decided, well, we won't use them all the time. Sometimes, well, hell yeah. Sometimes it's okay, but not all the time. And they're the only words that seem to have that restriction. I mean, there are a lot of words you can say whenever you want, you know. Pneumonia! Nobody gives you a lot of... All right, you can't yell it in the hospital a great deal, but what the hell? There are words that you can say, no problem. Topography! No one has ever gone to jail for screaming topography. But there are some words that you can go to jail for. There are some words that we just have decided we will not say all the time. Sometimes, okay. If you're running through the jungle chasing somebody that we're at war with, you can holler them. If you're shooting a criminal, it's okay. It's the all-American thing. Dirty fucking crook. But if you're with the bishop's wife at lunch, it's better not to ask for the goddamn lettuce. You know what I mean? It's just like we've decided there'll be some words we won't say all the time. And I was just trying to find out which words they were. For sure. All of them. I wanted a list. Because nobody gives you a list. That's the problem. They don't give you a list. Wouldn't you think it'd be normal if they didn't want you to say something to tell you what it is? Nobody even tells you when you're a kid what the words are that you're supposed to avoid. You have to say them to find out which ones they are. Shit! Oh, fuck! That's two. Oh, Ma, that's enough trial and error, huh? Please, Ma, give me a list, huh? All right, you're 6 years old now, and here's the list of words your dad and I don't ever want to hear you say. Oh, hey, thanks, Ma. Boy, that's going to save me an ass kicking or two. Yeah, you never know what's going to be on the list. Because it's always somebody else's list. You didn't make that up. Somebody told you that shit. They told you, better not say that. So you gotta... And you don't know what's going to be on their list. God, people's lists even change from day to day. Some people on Friday night got a list, you know, not about 2 or 3 words. Sunday morning, goddamn, they make 27 words on it. These are the same people 2 days later. Different list. So you got to kind of watch out what you're going to believe from them. The trouble is, I was trying to find out what these words might be. And I wanted to know the ones that you could never say on television. I mean the filthy words that are always filthy. There are a lot of these little two-way double entendre words that have two meanings, words that are okay part of the time. I call them like part-time filth. Some of these words, they're only 50% dirty. You have words like ass. Ass is hardly even a dirty word anymore, but it has a few meanings that you can't say on television. That's what I was talking about. What can you say on television? That's another one of those places where we can't use these words all the time. But some of them are all right some of the time. Ass is all right on television. You can say on television things like, well, you've made a perfect ass of yourself tonight. But you can't say,
Hey, let's go get some ass.
bitch. Bitch is another word like that, same kind of word. It's only dirty part of the time. Depends on what you mean by bitch. You might be the lady from the San Diego Zoo visiting one of the Tonight shows, and you might just have a bunch of little canines with you there. One of them is a female, and you say, there's the bitch, Johnny, and it's okay, fine. Just don't refer to the singer the same way. That's it. Is that bitch going to do another number? Yes. Animals are fine on those two-way words, and that's it. That's what I was trying to find. The words that were always dirty, not just part of the time, but completely filth. Well, in looking for these words, I kept finding new categories. We have so many ways of describing these dirty words. Well, we have more ways to describe dirty words than we actually have dirty words. That seems a little strange to me. It seems to indicate that somebody was awfully interested in these words. They kept referring to them. They called them bad words, dirty, filthy, foul, vile, vulgar, coarse, in poor taste, unseemly, street talk, gutter talk, locker room language, barracks talk, bawdy, naughty, saucy, raunchy, rude, crude, lewd, lascivious, indecent, profane, obscene, blue, off-color, risque, suggestive, cursing, cussing, swearing, and all I could think of was shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
There we go.
Although that may be frivolous words.
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. That was my original list. I knew it wasn't complete, but it was a starter set, you know? Shit, piss, fuck... Yes, WBAI is the one who played them. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. Now, that was the original list. We've added a few words since then. We've added fart, turd, and twat. And I know there are some other words that many of you are wondering about, why they haven't been considered, why they haven't shown up on the list thus far. We're looking at them all.
All right, we got the list.
You can say twat.
Yeah.
Don't be such a twat.
But don't be a twat.
Don't be a twat. You can say that guy's a complete ass, but you can't say she's got a great ass.
Yeah, well, you gotta love Carlin.
Yeah.
George Carlin spoke nothing but truth. But he wrapped it in a joke. So everyone was so busy laughing, they didn't realize they were hearing truth.
Exactly. And people laugh because it's funny, but they laugh
because it's true.
There's a line in the movie, The Untouchables.
Yeah.
You laugh because it's funny. You laugh because it's true. That's exactly what it is.
If you wrap the truth in a joke, people actually begin to understand it easier, though. And they accept it easier because it's escaping them.
It's like little Johnny walks up to his grandfather and says, Grandpa, what does geriatric pussy taste like? And Grandpa says, depends.
Carlin was great. Carlin, God, we miss you. We miss you, George.
We need you, George. We need you, George.
Especially now.
Oh, man, that he must be just doing somersaults in his grave because, I mean, holy fuck. Okay. No, you're not entitled to your uninformed opinion. You're not entitled to your uninformed opinion.
Absolutely not.
No. And yet, okay, I've been scanning this article, and I love it when people say, well, I'm entitled to my opinion.
Which one are you on?
No, you're not entitled to your uninformed opinion.
Your uninformed opinion. Yeah, okay, I gotta find that.
Okay.
Give me,
This is how it works. You're entitled to an opinion about personal preferences, like favorite chocolate over vanilla ice cream, or preferring the ocean over mountains. You're entitled to liking one thing over another or believing that one thing is better for personal reasons. You are not, however, entitled to an uninformed opinion that flies in the face of logic, reasons, and verifiable fact, which we were talking about earlier about global warming.
Yeah.
You can't say that you think or believe something, have that belief contradicted with clear and irrefutable evidence, and then say, well, I'm entitled to opinion. Yes, you can, because even the clear and irrefutable facts can change. And at one point, that clear and irrefutable fact was somebody's opinion. Every scientific discovery was somebody's opinion.
Every one of them was.
Yeah. My opinion is Donald Trump is a fucking puppet ass who can't control what comes out of his mouth, and they really need...
Account.
Yeah, exactly. His Twitter account, I wonder if he sits there and drunk and tweets things out.
Yeah. Supposedly
The guy
he
plays-
doesn't drink.
The guy plays more golf than he's ever in the Oval Office. But what scares me about Trump is if they impeach Trump, then you end up with Mike Pence, who's worse.
Yeah. So anyway, back to this article here.
But yeah, well, you can say that you're entitled to free speech. No, you're not. In Canada, you're not entitled to free speech. You're entitled to...
You're entitled to express your opinion here.
No, you have the right of expression, providing that expression does not incite violence.
Yeah, it's close to free speech. This article is obviously written for the states, where they actually are entitled to free speech.
No, they're not.
It's written into the First Amendment of the Constitution.
Bull! I don't care what that piece of paper says.
The right to free speech.
Bullshit! Bullshit!
Yeah.
There's no such thing as free speech anywhere.
There is. And
There
it should
isn't.
be. Free speech should be paramount above everything else.
It should be, but it isn't. There's
It
no
is.
way you... Look, if I said that my name is George Smith,
Yeah.
and
George.
I want to kill the president, Filbert F. Fuckwad.
Yeah, well, he's
Okay.
entitled to his free speech, but free speech has consequences.
Yeah, but then I say I'm going to fly down to Washington. Well, I'm now on a no-fly list. I'm not entitled to free speech.
He's entitled to free speech, but free speech has consequences.
Then it's not free speech.
It is free speech.
No, it's not. By
be-
your very definition, if
You have the
you're going
freedom
to have
to-
consequences, then it's not free speech.
That is free.
No, it's not.
Every action you perform in life has consequences. When you wipe your ass, it has consequences. It doesn't matter. Every action has consequences.
There's no such thing as free anything.
The freedom to speak it.
Freedom to speak and free speech are different
All right,
things.
it's shortened down from freedom to speak whatever you want. In the Constitution, it's written as the freedom to say and do what you want. It's not written as free speech. It's written as that, but it's shortened down to free speech. It's the freedom to say and do what you want. It doesn't say free from consequences. Okay? You always have consequences. If you do something such as, like you said, I'm going to blah, 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 and I'm going to threaten to kill somebody, yeah, you have consequences. You've now threatened somebody. You've incited to violence or whatever. It has consequences. But you should always have the freedom to express and say what you will. It doesn't matter what it is, but you should be prepared to handle the consequences of what you say and do. And again, here, this is where they're talking about the challenge. You are entitled to the free speech, but you can't expect whatever opinion you spout off to not be challenged. Someone else is entitled to challenge your opinion in any way they see fit, whether they want to try and challenge it with facts or bullshit.
The U.S. Constitution also says that the church shall not impede on the state.
No, separation of church and state.
Yes.
Not that one shouldn't impede on the other, that they should be separate.
But does that happen?
Actually, it is for the most
Bullshit.
Where is
We're
it?
banning Muslims. We're banning Muslims.
That has nothing to do with free speech.
That's
or with church and state.
No, it's not. I'm showing you how the U.S. Constitution is full of bullshit.
No.
They say that church and state should be separate, and yet they're banning.
Are they attacking or trying to control or deal with the Muslim religion? No, they're dealing with people who come from the Muslim religion who have been shown to be more propensity towards violence and terrorism than any other religion currently in existence. Okay, it's about actions and about relations to things. It's not about them trying to control the religion or putting restrictions on the religion or bringing that religion into the government of the United States, which is what the Constitution is about,
But
in separation of church and state.
You go to court.
Unlike-
you go to court in the States. What's the first thing they fucking do to you on the witness stand?
They
Put
ask-
your hand on the Bible.
Or if you don't believe in it, they'll let you swear an oath.
What's written on the money? What's written on the money in the U.S.? In God we trust.
Yeah, but the money.
Separation church and
But
state.
the money's not printed by the government. You do know that, right?
Doesn't matter. It's still represented.
But
The
still,
government.
the money's not actually printed by the government or owned by the government.
No, but it's still seen as it's legal tender.
It's
So the
seen,
government
it's
has
seen as
said
an
that this-
enforcement of, an endorsement of God. But the thing is what God are they talking about on there? It doesn't specify what God it is. It doesn't specify in Christian God we trust, in Mohammed God we trust, in Judaism God we trust. It doesn't specify which God. It just says God. Pick a fucking God. There's dozens of those motherfuckers out there.
Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free access thereof,
That is
abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievance. Okay, it says freedom of speech.
Freedom. The freedom to speak what you want.
But it's not
That's
free.
what I said. But
There's no-
freedom. Freedom, as you already pointed out.
But freedom
separation-
means that it should be free from consequences.
No, freedom
Yes,
does
it
not
does.
mean free from consequences.
Freedom of expression and religion.
Freedom comes at a cost. We
No.
have freedom, but it came at a fucking cost.
You're talking to a vet. You're telling that to a vet.
So then you already understand.
But the freedom of expression means that you have the freedom to express this without consequence.
That's not what it
It
says.
does. No. This is
You're
what
reading. You're reading into something that it doesn't
You're reading
say.
into it.
No, I'm.
We're
I'm
both reading into
I'm
it.
reading it precisely as it says.
I'm reading it
Freedom
right
to
here.
Express. But
I've
see,
got
that's
it
the
up
thing.
on my screen.
But what I'm saying, it says that. That's what you have. The ability to say what you want.
Okay, and here's another one. The Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms.
A well-regulated militia,
Yes.
being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the
Why
people
are we
to keep
arguing
and bear
about the
arms
US
shall not be infringed. Because you brought up about freedoms. I'm going here and reading all these things that are supposed to be free. Now, this was designed so that there would always be an armed
Populace.
militia, military.
No, militia meaning the populace at the time. Militia was the populace, the people.
But it meant to fight against foreign invaders.
No, and further in the Constitution, it talks about fighting against and overthrowing your own government if you have to. Okay? The people who wrote the Constitution knew that eventually your government becomes so oppressive that the people may have to rise up against it and wipe it out and do it again. And it has happened. It was the reason the United States was created. They were fighting up against the oppression of the British monarchy at the time.
Okay, so let's get on to another freedom that you're supposed to have. The freedom against illegal search and seizure. They can drum up any excuse.
They're working their way around that one.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Fortunately, that's the one place where
You
lawyers
say
have done
freedom
good
isn't
and
free,
bad.
and the right of free speech, or freedom of speech, should be that you can make that speech without fear of retaliation from the government.
Well, yeah, you make it without fear of retaliation from the government, and almost everything is without speaking without fear of retaliation for the government.
Yeah, so okay, we're agreed on that.
That doesn't prevent fear of retaliation from some idiot out there.
Exactly. But the word freedom in itself implies without fear of retaliation.
Yeah, but it's meant for retaliation from the government. It's
Yes.
not meant for retaliation against some idiot
But
out there who
down
takes
in,
offense.
even here in Canada, you can't speak out against Islam without fear from the government.
No, they actually codified that in law for us,
Yes.
which is a really stupid.
But
fucking
you
thing
can
to
say
do.
anything you want about Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
You can say anything you want about Judaism.
I know.
About Buddhism.
So why did they specially cite out a particular religion here?
Because our asshole neighbors to the south are targeting one religion
So
as an enemy of the state, and people are saying, well, fuck it, all Muslims must die. I've got a neighbor who's Muslim who's a hell of a nice guy. When he first moved in, I helped him set up his laundry cart. A couple days later, he came by my house with a bag of treats for my kids.
But you're dealing with on an individual person basis.
That's what needs to be done.
Yes.
You cannot say Islam is evil.
Islam as a religion is more ridiculous and stringent than Christianity.
No, that's
it's
the
not.
radicals.
No,
Have you read the Quran?
No, not yet. But I've read enough of the passages in the Quran that they quote.
If you can get your hands on the original Quran, Islam is.
Oh, so Sharia law is not in the original Quran, is it?
No,
that was added later.
That was added.
Okay.
Islam is.
So how many of the?
Are you gonna let me fucking finish?
No, I'm gonna interrupt you every chance I get.
Well, shut your goddamn fucking cake hole for a change. Islam, at the basis, is a religion of peace.
So they claim.
Christianity claims that they're a religion of peace.
Mm-hmm. So they claim.
So every religion claims it's a religion of peace.
Which one is creating the problems in the world today, though?
Christianity.
No.
Yes.
Which one is creating more problems in the world
Who's
today?
going in and taking over lands that they have no right to?
Islam, Judaism,
white Christians, white Christians, white Christians, white Christians, white fucking Christians. They have other people doing it as their puppets, but it's a white fucking Christians.
Whatever you say.
You know, the Romans had the right idea. Feed the fucking Christians to the lions.
Guess they ran out of lions.
But anyways, next. Because, you know, he's an idiot and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. No, menstrual blood. Flat Earth exit secret, the Great Flood, and our divine destination.
Oh my God.
That's a YouTube video though.
Well, let's go see it. Some of these are actually good. Not all of them, some of them. All right, let's go find this one here real quick. Let's see what we got.
Hey, thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. There is a good deal of evidence that says humans existed at a time before there was a moon in the sky. Aristotle said the Pelasgians lived in Arcadia at a time before the moon. He called these people Proselenians, meaning those who lived before the moon. Anaxagoras and Democritus mentioned these same people as being before the moon. And so convinced were they of this fact that they had no problem relaying it as a part of their standard history lessons to their students of the time. Apollonius of Rhodes mentioned the time when not all the orbs were yet in the heavens, and only the Arcadians lived, of whom it is said that they dwelt on mountains and fed on acorns, before there was a moon. The ancient Illyrians were also Proselenians, whose records record a time before the moon. The 14th century Italian scientist Giordano Bruno echoes all of this. There are those who have believed that there was a certain time when the moon, which was believed to be younger than the sun, was not yet created. The Cordilleras believes there was a time with no moon, and they always to this day start their stories of ancient times with the phrase, "before the moon inhabited the night sky." In Bolivia, there are pictographs stating the moon did not arrive in the heavens until about 12,000 years ago. And strangely enough, there is a lack of ancient moon maps. Pretty weird given that the moon is a main celestial body and the brightest next to the sun. Philip Stuke of the University of Western Ontario couldn't understand this, and after a long search, the oldest reference to the moon he could find was what appeared to be a lunar map inside a tomb in North Ireland, dating back 5,000 years. He found a set of lines and dots that, when placed over a picture of the full moon, is strange. The moon has always had a strong relationship with menstruation. In 1980, a study was published on this phenomenon. The study mentioned that the lunar cycle and a fertile menstrual cycle are the same, 29.5 days. A real phenomenon exists. In 1986, a study found that there was a synchronous relationship between the menstrual cycle and the lunar rhythm. During menstruation, blood is expelled from the vagina, and there's been a deliberate attempt to make this seem gross and unpleasant, when in reality, period blood is sacred, blood of a giantess. And the Norse god as a result, morphed.
Okay, that was enough. You should really go watch that one.
Yeah. First thing, I've got issue with Aristotle.
I have no idea what you're talking
Aristotle also said that Pythagoras was a square. I know most of our listeners are going to be going, what the fuck's he talking about?
Yeah, a lot of them are going to be, huh?
Pythagorean theorem.
Just so you know, Pythagoras created the Pythagorean theory and a lot of our geometry.
Now you've educated them. We're not supposed to do that.
Oh, is that? Yeah, we're supposed to avoid education. We don't want no education here. That's for damn sure.
Okay, new Ontario law allows the government to seize children if parents oppose their gender identity.
Oh, this one here.
What the fuck?
This one here. See, this is where we're talking about Ontario being the leader in these ridiculous gender identity shit that we hit at the very beginning. Okay? And talking briefly about Bill C-16 that's coming in, where they're changing shit so that we are forced via the law to conform.
Okay, so here's how it should be. If you present yourself as a man, I'm going to call you a man.
That's right.
Or he, or him. If you present yourself as a woman, I'm going to use feminine pronouns. You want any other shit than that? I self-identify as an asshole. You will not address me as him, her. You'll address me as my lord.
You were arguing slightly against that to me. Anyway, this is a new law in Ontario that if you have young children, and we all know young children really have no clue what they want in life yet. Basically, they're trying to figure shit out. But all of a sudden, they've been listening to this shit. They come across a YouTube video you don't catch or something, and they start wondering, maybe I'm not a boy. Maybe I'm a zebra or whatever. I'm going to self-identify as a whatchamaticket today. And they come up to you and
I
they
self-identify as a
and they
wombat.
start doing that, and you try to correct them and say, no, look, there's only two fucking sexes in the world. There's men, there's women. That's it. Boy, girl. There is nothing else. Okay, there's nothing in between. Okay, there's the occasional person who's born a hermaphrodite.
Which is now the politically incorrect term now.
I know, it's intersexual, whatever. Hermaphrodite. I'm going to stick with that term because I really don't give a fuck about
I have cousins down in Australia who were born that way, and they went through their life with both sets of genitals. And when I talked to them, I said, well, I guess if I tell you to go fuck yourself, you actually can.
You actually can.
No.
But anyway, the point I'm getting at here, according to this new law, your child comes to you and wants to identify this way, and you're trying to straighten it out. They can go to child services, or they make mention to their teacher or something. Ontario child protectives come in and take your children away because you're not being a good parent.
Yeah, it's stupid. Now, the picture here shows the rainbow flag, the pride flag.
Hey,
right?
they've got 2 new stripes in that now.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to bring up. Pride, you've lost any fucking respectability that you ever had because you've caved into Black Lives Matters. You won't allow the cops to march in your parade, even though they're the ones making the streets safe for you to have your parade.
Yep.
But now you've got to have these 2 brown stripes up there because there's no black, there's no brown, and we feel like you're leaving us out. And
It's
you know
funny,
what?
when you look at a rainbow, I'm pretty sure brown isn't on either end of the rainbow.
You put all those colors together, what do you get?
White.
No. You take them all away, you have white. White is the absence of color.
No, white is the combination of all colors.
White is the absence of color. Black is a combination of all colors.
Black
And I'm just going to bring it up here. Okay?
As a person who works with color on a continuous basis, it's exactly opposite. You put them all together, you get white. It's a combination of all the colors. And we're not talking about the color created on the screen. We're talking about the visual light. Visually, you combine a rainbow, it becomes white.
Okay. 3 ways to make black. WikiHow. Mixing complementary colors.
But that's pigment. That's adding color.
Okay.
Pigments.
Black. Wikipedia. Well, we can't really trust Wikipedia because any fucking idiot can...
Every idiot edits Wikipedia. I've even done it a couple of times just for fun.
Okay, Yahoo Answers. Black is not a color. It's considered to be all colors. You can theoretically make black by mixing all primary colors, which is red, yellow, and blue. You take all those colors away, and you have no color, which is white.
See, that's the exact opposite of what it is.
No, it's not.
Because that's pigmentation. You add pigments, yes.
Yeah.
But colors,
Okay.
the ambient colors in the air, what you see, that's a different type of color than what you see on a screen or on paper.
What do you do with colors every day?
I make them, I blend them, I move them, I adjust them, I change them.
What do I do with colors every day?
I have fucking no clue.
I photograph them. I've got to have a wild color theory in my profession.
The thing is that fuck it. We're gonna agree to disagree on this one.
When
We're
you're
getting
wrong, you resolve.
until I have the paperwork to prove I'm right. Anyway, so shitty Ontario law. Let's hope it doesn't spread across the rest of Canada, but unfortunately what starts in Ontario often spreads to the rest of the country.
And usually
they're
hits-
like a cancer on this fucking
And usually
country.
hits us right after Ontario, because face it, we live in the most beautiful province of them all. We live on the west coast. That's got a bunch of fucking hippie freaks.
Yeah, and they all come from Ontario.
School yearbook page filled with racist symbols that somehow made it past administrators. Ooh.
Oh, this one's great. Which one is that?
School yearbook page filled
Oh,
with
there we go.
racist symbols.
I just had to have a word so I could find that one.
School officials say the yearbook is being reprinted. Oh my God! It's got like the cross from the KKK and the Confederate
it's
flag.
got a Confederate
and-
flag in it, which is unfortunate. And because it's such a marvelous symbol.
It's okay. I can see the cross from the KKK. Yeah, I can understand that one. People being offended by that one, by all
But
means.
see, that cross is not only used by the KKK; it's used by several religions and several beliefs. Aside from the KKK, they appropriated it.
Yeah, but
So
when
that's-
you see that cross, what do you think of? You think of the KKK.
Actually, I thought of the Knights Templar when I saw the white cross on the red background. As soon
Yeah,
as
but
I see the Knights Templar,
the Knights Templar was a red cross on white.
so I've got it backwards.
Okay, but most people when they see that cross are going to think the Klan.
No.
Yes, they are.
Only if you pay attention to the Klan and know what their fucking cross is.
If you don't know what the Klan is, then you're in serious fucking.
I said pay
hurt.
attention to the Klan. I didn't say not know who they are.
Well-
you have to pay attention to them to know whatever fucking cross they use.
But okay, say this whole thing about the Confederate flag that it's pro-racism, pro-slavery.
that's
No, it's
bullshit.
not. It's part of your history, people.
That's the problem. They're trying to erase history, and when you erase history, you erase the mistakes of the past, and you're doomed to fucking repeat them.
Those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
And by erasing history, which is what the South is doing right now, they're erasing history. They're forgetting that they need to pay attention to that history so that the problems that occurred are not repeated again.
And you know what? It's actually happening because there's lynchings down in the South. They lynched 2 black guys. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's probably, I haven't heard.
Non-crackers. They lynched 2 non-crackers.
Two non-crackers. Yeah, well, I wouldn't doubt it, and that's what happens. People forget. If they don't have their history, they forget. And that flag was actually the Confederate battle flag.
Yeah.
Is what it was, and it was adopted by the Confederate States. It actually had a modification as the Confederate state flag when it was first adopted. It wasn't just a battle flag. Can't remember the specific modification, but it had a minor modification from the Confederate battle flag. But that's what it was, and that's what it stood for, and then yet everyone came along and said, "Oh, it stands for racist." Well, that's not what it stood for, and everyone seems to forget that the War of Northern Aggression was actually a war not about slavery at all. It was about the control that the North was exercising on the South. The South didn't have all the political clout, but what they had all the agriculture. All the agriculture was down there, and they wanted to exercise their rights to live the way they wanted to do. And they tried to exercise the rights written into the Constitution. And this is where, of course, the federal government has ignored the Constitution because they had the right to secede from the Union. But the North went, "Oh no, you can't fucking succeed." And they actually came pretty damn close to succeeding, except for the fact the British couldn't quite bring the money into the South, because the British actually supported the South. The French supported the North. just so for those that really want to know some of the history there. If you don't believe me, go look it up.
Okay, let's skip ahead because we got a lot of shit to cover.
Well, we're only going to cover so much. We're only going to do a couple hours of this crap, and you know, a lot of this stuff will start to appear on the website at thecrankyoldbastard.com as independent articles, so you can go look up these things and go see the kind of crap that's out there on the web, and that people are believing.
We've got one here. Okay, Muslim students insulted at public schools. I haven't read this one yet. It's the last one, but there's one I want to go back to. It's on the last page, last one.
All right. I thought you were going to do the Muslim student one. But
well, yeah, but we're going to go back to one of the other ones after we've done this.
Okay.
But it says I do not have full access. Do not have access to the full content.
Oh, fuck me. They cut off my access to it. Damn. CIJ News, alternative angle.
Yeah, it kind of strikes me. I've seen some of this stuff before, and it strikes me as a very right-wing website.
The thing about right-wing and left-wing, they all produce news.
Yeah.
And you all take it with a grain of salt. But the thing is a lot of times they actually cover news that the mainstream media won't cover.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they'll twist it and push it for their agenda, but the idea is you got to learn to read between the lines to see the truth.
Now, Muslim students want to pray at school. Okay. Are they going to make my kids pray with them? If so, I have a problem with it. Are they going to do it on their own time and not interfere with school? Then what's the fucking problem?
But the problem is, okay, now I sort of remember the article. The problem is not just on their own time. They're wanting the school to cut time for them to do because they do what, prayers 5-6 times a day? Something like that?
Yeah.
You know, so they want the schools to cut them time, but they also want the schools to create special places for them on the school. So if you do that for the Muslims, that means you got to do it for the Christians, you got to do it for the Jews, you got to do it for the Satanists, you got to do it for everybody.
Yeah.
So that means you may as well give over the entire school for all the religions that deserve this.
Yeah.
That's what this, I do recall it now. That's what this article was talking about. It was talking about they have a right to pray at school anytime they really want to, is provided it's their own time. But they don't have a right to cut classes short. They don't have a right to force the school to provide a space for them. They don't have a right for that. Because if they have that right, that means every other religion has that right too, to force the space. It's rockin' time.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting a text, folks.
Hey, it's a rockin' text. So anyway, that's what it is. And that's happening across schools in Canada right now. And of course, where's it starting? But at the fucking center of the goddamn universe.
Yeah. No, I mean...
That's Toronto, for those of you that don't know.
When I was in the Middle East, you know, when it was time to pray, people faced east towards Mecca, and they prayed.
Nothing wrong with that. They're more than welcome to face whatever direction they want.
You didn't have to. They didn't stop you.
Yeah.
As long as you were respectful and didn't kick them while they were praying.
I'm not going to kick them. I'm not going to say anything. They make their prayers, have themselves a nice day. That's not the problem. It's the problem when they try to force changes in a system that they have no right forcing changes in a system for.
Exactly. You come here. Canada is multicultural, yes, but you need to adapt to our ways.
See, there's one of the big points I was getting at earlier about immigrants moving here. Immigrants need to adapt to the culture they're coming to. If we went to their country and wanted to live in their country, would we not be expected to adapt to their culture, learn their language?
Yes. And if you know prayer times are at certain times, and the businesses are expected to shut down, then you shut your doors for half an hour.
Yeah, whatever it takes. But see, the thing is, when you go to another culture, another country, you're expected to go to it. You know, and that's the thing I'm talking about here. And that's what does not occur when immigrants are coming here. They're wanting to maintain their own rules, their own laws, their own cultures entirely. Now, they're entitled to keep them to a point. But there's some things they need to give over to the dominant culture that they're in.
I mean, but you've got to also respect the fact that we've made allowances for other religions.
Well, you make allowance for the religion.
We allow kosher butchering.
There's nothing wrong with allowing culture butchering.
Exactly.
So
Same as halal.
let's allow Sharia law while we're at it too.
No.
Well, see, that's what the thing is many of them are demanding Sharia law.
Then they need to go back to the Middle East. Where?
How about that? I have an agreement from him. Oh my God, mark this one down, folks.
Hey, I never disagreed with that. You asked me if Sharia law is written into the Quran. It's not.
No, we were arguing about something else, and I brought up, is it written into the Quran? And I was arguing something else at the point. But anyway, well, it's written into the Quran now.
It is, but the original Quran it wasn't. And
do they use the original Quran in Muslim beliefs now?
Some of them do. The more moderate ones do. And the more moderate ones, the Quran doesn't tell women to wear burqas. It tells them that they should be modest, not cover up every fucking.
Well, if you want to talk about how the modesty used to be, let's go back to, was it Afghanistan or Iran? It was Iran before the Shah
and
took
Afghanistan.
over. And Afghanistan, where women
when the Shah was in power.
Yeah, when the Shah was in power.
Yeah. You said before the Shah took over.
No, I said before the Shah was overthrown is what I meant to say. Women were treated as equals there. They were well educated.
Yes.
They dressed mostly like North American women, a little bit more modestly, in their dress from what I've seen of the photos from that era. They wore dresses. They didn't wear these face mask coverings or headscarves or anything else. You could see their hair and their arms and whatever. They looked like normal women. And they went to school, they educated, they teach, they had jobs, they had lives.
Yes.
And then they overthrew the Shah and the
Ayatollah Khomeini.
The Ayatollah, and it went to shit.
Yeah. And see, well, I believe everyone's entitled to their own beliefs as far as religion goes. You're not entitled to force that belief down my fucking throat.
That's the whole thing.
Okay.
All right, where are we going next? Yeah, we're bouncing around here.
Trigglypuff
Oh,
dancing.
Trigglypuff. Oh, God.
And we'll end with this. Let me stop this on mine. So.
All right, Trigglypuff it is. Oops, wrong one. I gotta get this one here. Yeah, you'll like Trigglypuff because this feminist that she created a whole meme. You know what Trigglypuff is, right?
Nope.
Oh, well, your kids don't play Pokemon, so
nope.
That's why you wouldn't know. It's a Pokemon. It's a Pokemon character. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead.
All right, Trigglypuff. Off we go.
Get triggered.
Dear friend, it's monster. That's not going to happen. Listen. Listen. Nobody here wants to hear your opinion. Here's what's so crazy. You're not fighting for right. You're fighting for the right to be a pussy and have your opinion that you don't like. Is he gonna check his privilege? Is he gonna check his privilege? That's not going to happen.
It's Trigglypuff.
What the fuck did I just watch? My brain hurts from watching that.
All right. So
what the fuck?
All right, we're going to close out with this one, but to give you some background on it, just so he understands too. Some of you might know. Anyway, Trigglypuff there was at a Milo Yiannopoulos speech, and she got triggered by something he said, and she got up there and wiggled her big fat arms. She's feminist, obviously. And wiggled her big fat arms, bitching about what he said. And of course, the internet memes just took over with that one because that one was just too much fun. And so they wrapped together a whole bunch of other people who present anti-feminists presenting their speeches, and they wrapped them all around her. It's just it's totally hilarious. Anyway,
It's a minute and 10 seconds of my life that I can never get back.
no, we only watched for a minute and 7 seconds. So hey,
Still.
you got 3 extra seconds there. Shall we wrap?
No more.
All right, well, that's a wrap for this episode of the Cranky Old Bastard. And, well, I hope you enjoyed yourself, folks, and maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't.
Allahu Akbar. Take it easy, folks. We'll see you back here next week.
That's all we got now for you. Take care. Bye-bye.